5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So, I wake up this morning, pick up my phone. First thing I see is Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal get in an altercation at a upscale Miami restaurant called either Poppy's Steaks or Pappy Steaks or Poppy Steaks. It's all spelled the same, so however you pronounce it, I don't know. Apparently, these guys got in an altercation at this restaurant, and the police were called. Guys, this is such bullshit. Have they not taken us for a ride long enough? I've done several videos on these guys and discussed how I didn't think that this beef between them was actually legitimate, and that they're just taking, the whole world along for the ride as far as this beef and all that stuff. These guys probably sneak over to each other's house in the middle of the night and have drinks and high-five each other. I mean, just, I think they should have left well enough alone. They finally had the one fight. I'm sure it did really well financially. And now, here they are. When the fight only happened less than 2 weeks ago, now they just happen to be at the same restaurant in South Miami where they get into an altercation and have the police called. And now it's on the front cover of any MMA news media entity in existence. I mean, could they possibly get any more obvious about this beef not being an actual beef? I'm just saying, America, stop letting these two guys take you for a ride. Now listen, if you're just a hardcore MMA fanatic and, you'd pay to see another Masvidal-Colby fight, and, you're one of those people that, or you're one of those people that is just such an avid fan of both or either of those guys that you would just pay to see them fight no matter who they fought. If that's you, and if you fall into that category, fine, man. Fine. Nothing to be ashamed of. You'll buy the fight. You'll watch the fight if it happens for a second time. But for folks like me, and, I've been watching the UFC since before the UFC was even referred to as MMA. I've been watching it since 1993, since the Hoist Gracie days. So the UFC goes way, 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 way back for me, probably a lot longer than it does a lot of you guys out there listening to my channel right now. Either way, my point is this. As much of a hardcore fan as I am, I don't want to see that fight again. I don't want to see that fight again. That fight happens the same way. If that fight happened 10 times, 9 times it happens exactly the way it happened on March the 5th. All right? Now, we saw that Masvidal always has that puncher's chance. He clipped Colby late in that fight and set Colby down to a knee for a second. But Colby's a guy who can take a shot, man. He's been hit hard by Kamaru Usman, and he got hit hard by Masvidal as well. And he's one of those guys that, at least for now, has a good chin. He has a tendency to be able to bounce back from stuff like that. He's shown it time and time again. And a lot of people, well, Masvidal wasn't in shape. He looked like shit for that fight. He obviously didn't prepare himself. Guys, He prepared himself. Masvidal looked great. The problem is that Masvidal was getting wrestled and grappled and dominated on the ground the whole time. And anybody who sits on the outside looks at that and say, well, Masvidal didn't come in shape for that fight. He looked pudgy. He looked bad in the octagon. He obviously didn't prepare. Anybody who says that obviously has no experience with MMA or grappling, because if you've ever done any sort of grappling in an environment where you're grappling with another individual who is not only good at grappling but who is more of a dominant grappler than yourself and weigh roughly the same weight that you do, that is one of the most tiresome propositions that you can ask of anyone, literally of anyone. And Masvidal was tired because he was getting wrestled and grappled the whole time. That's why he was tired. It had nothing to do with his not being prepared to fight Colby Covington. I think he was plenty prepared for the fight. You would think that his team had to have known that this was going to be the game plan of Colby Covington, especially going up against a lethal striker like Masvidal, and it was, and it worked. And 9 out of 10 times, I think this is the outcome that we will see. Obviously, Masvidal has that puncher's chance, but more times than not, what's going to happen first is that Colby's going to be able to get Masvidal to the mat, tire him out, take some pop out of his punches and kicks so that he's able to survive those times that he might get clipped by Masvidal, just like he did in his first fight. Guys, stop letting these guys take you for a ride, please. The beef is not real, and in my opinion, they should have left well enough alone. It's getting to a point now where it's becoming a little obvious. So you're telling me that these guys just happen to be at this same restaurant at the same time and happen to get in this little altercation. And what about them wasting taxpayers' dollars by getting the police called on them? These guys just fought in a cage 2 weeks ago. Why are the police getting called on them? Oh, man. I am sure the police in Miami had so many more important things, and domestic disputes and drug raids and all kinds of other items they could have attended to that night, besides going to break up some fake fight between two guys who have been selling a fake beef publicly for years now. So I just want to say this. If you're a hardcore fan and you just want to see that second fight between them, fine. But stop buying into this beef these guys have for one another. I guarantee you they are texting each other. But has anyone looked at their phones? Has the police come in and confiscated either one of their telephones to look and see if they're actually planning these things? Because I guarantee you they are. I guarantee you they're texting each other back and forth. Hey, man, I'm going to be out at Poppy's tonight. You going to be there? Let's make this thing happen, man. Let's go ahead and start setting up this second fight. These guys are taking us all for a ride because they're both huge stars. And that huge beef among these huge stars equates to what? Huge money. Both of these guys are right around the corner from looking at probably retiring here within the next couple of years. They are trying to get all of the money fights that they can possibly get between now and then. That's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's going on. Don't believe anything else. The beef is not real. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you next time.
Can't wait, no time is game, so I just put it on my way. All I need is love, all I need is love.